and welcome back to the Oklahoma Venture Forum podcast. I'm your host, Lindsey Miller, and today I am joined by the co-founders of SkinCheck, Julian Abhari, the CTO, and Daniel Marques, the CEO, ahead of their pitch at our luncheon in March. So thank you all so much for joining me today. I'm excited to talk to you about your business.
Of course, thank you for having us.
It's a pleasure.
It's like a late afternoon. It's just like the perfect way to end our day and go home and maybe have a cocktail and relax. Right?
Yes, it's happy hour time.
Exactly. So tell me what SkinCheck is, like in a nutshell for someone who's never heard of it before.
Yeah, absolutely. SkinCheck is a digital dermatology platform enabling patients to expedite their access to treatment and empowering healthcare providers to intervene when necessary. Every hour, more than 2 people die from skin cancer in the U.S. alone. But despite that, 99% of all skin cancer cases are treatable if detected early enough. So SkinCheck is here to make early detection possible.
99% are curable?
Yes,
that's exactly right.
That's correct.
I've never heard that statistic before. That's astounding.
Yeah, and the key is that if detected early, right? Mm-hmm. So the skin cancer, it is extremely incident. I mean, 1 in every 5 Americans, that's a lot of people. But the access to care is where a lot of the problem is. And in regards of access to care, there's also extremely interesting statistic is that people of color, specifically black men, have a 30% higher death rate from skin cancers like melanoma because there's this misunderstanding that people of color might not be susceptible to skin cancer, but the reality is that the mortality rate is actually higher because the access to care is much more difficult. Yeah.
Right. So you're saying if you have skin, then you can have skin cancer.
Exactly,
Absolutely.
yeah. And everybody should take the correct way to prevent from sun and all other different types of UV radiation to make sure that you're taking good care of your skin.
Yeah. And so what does SkinCheck do? I was like, did I say it right that time? Yeah.
Yes.
What does SkinCheck do to help in this prevention area?
That's a great question. Well, so we have a mobile accessible app that basically allows for patients, primary care physicians, and frontline healthcare workers to perform routine skin checks to monitor the skin health of their patients and detect any concerning skin lesions. And if they have found a concerning skin lesion, then they can get an expert telehealth diagnosis and a referral for further treatment using SkinCheck.
Okay, so any physician then could implement this within their practice.
Yeah, soon
Okay.
they will be able to. Currently, what we have available in the App Store and are servicing over 130,000 users in our platform is the SkinCheck app, which is a skin health management app, where, for example, myself, Julian, and you are able to monitor our skin lesions, track the growth and changes on those skin lesions, and we give the user a full suite of features to be able to track the progression of their lesions and also just educate them about potential other risks for their skin. And what we're building now is to be able to give the user a way to get a medical recommendation in only 2 business days instead of having to wait the traditional 14 weeks in order to see a dermatologist.
Yeah, okay, we just made a dermatology appointment for my daughter, not for this exact thing, but it was a skin health issue, and it was 2 months to get her in. Yeah.
You know what's a horrible problem in skin cancer is for skin cancers like melanoma, they can develop to be life-threatening in a sort of 6 weeks. And while the average wait time is about 14 weeks.
Yeah.
So that's exactly why a service like this is necessary.
Absolutely. I can see it very clearly even in my own life. Because we literally, our appointment is next week and we've been waiting, 2 months to be able to get her seen. So I'm sure other people, and when you're facing something as scary as the C word, having to wait, I'm sure adds all sorts of other medical issues and anxiety and problems just waiting to find out answers.
Exactly.
Tell me more about the development of the app. Like, how did this come about? Y'all were just hanging out one day. You decided to help cure cancer.
It did start a really long time ago. Julian and I have been friends since high school. I was a foreign exchange student from Brazil, and my best friend's neighbor was Julian. I lived with a host family. I loved them to death, but their house was extremely unorganized. If you guys are seeing this one day, know that I love you. But I used to go to my best friend's house all the time. And then his neighbor that he grew up with was Julian. Mm-hmm. So we met a really long time ago in high school. And then he can tell you why he was already working on this back in 2017 when we were 16 years old.
Yes, please tell me how you were doing this at 16.
So growing up, my mom always battled skin cancer throughout my childhood. And when I was 16, she had a case of melanoma that came back. And at the time, I was really interested in image recognition AI, though I was really passionate about computer science and programming, but my focus was actually developing fun little apps and games for my friends and I to play, including Dani actually. But it was around that time, as I was developing or learning about AI, that it became clear I wanted to actually make a difference using this technology, and I wanted to help try and solve this problem, especially because of how scary it was for my family. And I got to work developing a visual AI skin cancer detector to run directly on a mobile device, and this was back in 2018. And then in 2019, I released it to a close group of friends and family, including Dani.
Yeah.
And amazingly, my high school English teacher used it and found cases of skin cancer on their body, and they had never been to a dermatologist. If you're a high school teacher, it's really difficult to find the time. And the AI detected it early. They went to a dermatologist, and sure enough, it was a skin cancer. And luckily enough, they got it removed in time. And that's when I knew that this was something really special.
Yeah.
So I went to university to develop it further, worked with the National Science Foundation to get some research grants, etc. And it quickly it escalated into an exciting research project. And then it went beyond there when I had this technology for visual AI skin cancer detection, but I had no way of taking it forward. I was really lost as a student. I wasn't exactly sure how entrepreneurship worked, anything like that. I just knew how to write code.
Right, yeah.
And that's when I linked up with my friend from high school.
Yeah, so in university or even in high school, I wasn't necessarily working with AI and machine learning. I wasn't developing apps. I loved playing them, and it was fun. But I was always super fascinated. So my background in university, I was studying finance. But really early on, I developed a huge passion for healthcare. I always say that my plan, if I had stayed in Brazil to go to college, I would have went to med school. I was just extremely fascinated about biology and a lot of different facets of the healthcare landscape. And then my sophomore year of college, my actual first entrepreneurial endeavor was in healthcare. It was a medical device company where it was me and 6 other senior engineers that were about to graduate and had this very great idea and had built this very good product and needed someone with business acumen. And I didn't know anything at the time. I was just really willing to do whatever it took to find out. And during that experience, I just became really obsessed about bringing technologies, innovative technologies into healthcare. Because it's incredible to think that we have such powerful devices that we use here and on our phones and our watches, but we're still using fax to send information over in the healthcare system. So I just became really passionate about that really early on in college, and then I went on to start the first student-focused venture fund and incubator in the state of Oklahoma. So in partnership with my university, we established an incubator, and that was around the time that Julian reached out to me and was like, hey, I just got this research award, but I don't know where things are going to go. And then I remember just on the same call, I was like, hey, we're launching this incubator program. I don't want to hear what you have to say. You have to participate. Like, you have an incredible technology, have an incredible idea. You should definitely participate, take your startup through it. And then that was actually the first check that I ever wrote as an investor through the company that I was leading at the time, which was Sky Ventures, was into SkinCheck. So then we reconnected, the technology was incredible, but there definitely needed a way forward. And then that initial incubator was where we informally started working together. Because I was still leading that company, I actually went on to lead that company to establish an incubator and venture fund for the New Zealand government. When after I was getting done with that last contract, which was one of our major clients, I came back to Tulsa for us to co-found SkinCheck full time. That was about a year and a half ago. Yeah.
What an amazing journey you two have been on. And I love that so much of it is connected here in Oklahoma too.
Oh, so much, yeah.
Yeah, and the resources that you were able to find here locally, because I think people don't always know, or have access to something. Here you are starting incubators, and like you're at 16 trying to solve like real world adult problems because you're living it every day. And I'm just really, I don't know, I'm really impressed, and this is a really cool story to hear.
Thank you, yeah.
I'm wondering about these 130,000 users that you have.
Yeah.
And because maybe we're not too far in age, but maybe we are also pretty far in age, but is there a certain age group of people that you're finding is easier to go, oh yeah, I trust this technology to check my skin, or what are you seeing in your user base?
Yeah, so we are able to collect a lot of our usage data. So we are able to see what are the age of our users, what are a little bit of the demographic. And a lot of our users are from the age 50 and above.
I'm fascinated by that.
Yeah.
Really?
Or at least the ones that engage the most with the feedback loops that we have in place.
Yeah.
And also the ones that we hear a lot of testimonials that come from maybe a son or a daughter of an older individual. The vast majority of the users are around 35 to 40, but the ones that answer most of the surveys that engage the most are actually a little 50 and above, because that's usually the age that you start developing more skin cancer, because you've had 50 years of sun incidents and that starts happening, and individuals are looking for a way to be able to monitor their skin health, to know when to look for medical intervention.
And the thing to note there is in our design process and our design philosophy, we've definitely taken a lot that I've learned from the incubator from Sky Ventures, but was learning about like focus groups and these different ways that we can make like the most intuitively designed technology so that it actually can be used even by people who aren't so familiar with the digital space.
Yeah, and I can't help but go, you had this start in gaming, and now you're able to get user data through surveys. Are you using some of those skills to get people to answer your questions?
Gamification?
Yeah. Because like, do you know how hard it is to get people to answer surveys? And then you have all these people answering your stuff. So watch your secret.
We've both been definitely spearheading on how we can improve our user engagement in many different ways. An update that it's now in beta and we're just about to launch in the next coming weeks, is one where now we basically have created this way for people not only to do like a one single image scan and triage their lesion, but actually to take it further and do a full routine skin check, which is perfect. It aligns so well with our branding. And then in this like gamification process, we're trying to make it to where it's like routine. We have these automatic reminders that are based actually off of recommendations from the American Academy of Dermatology, basically saying every month come back, perform a full body skin check, and check any new or changing skin lesions.
I didn't know it was every month. Is there a certain age where you're supposed to do that?
Actually, the AAD recommends that everyone does it, but my mom's skin cancer was when she was 27.
Yeah.
But of course, it is most common in older folks.
So everyone listening needs to go get the app and do a skin check right now if you haven't. I've never done one. I'm 41. I need to get on that, y'all.
Yeah, it's definitely an important way, because a lot of the time, if you're going to see your PCP or your family physician, they're not necessarily looking for irregularities on your skin. And there's a piece of this aspect that we are building that is really being able to empower the patient in regards of you have the power of really being aware of your skin lesions and being aware of your skin health to better know when to look for medical intervention. So we are empowering the patient to take control of their skin health and to know when it's really time to be able to look for a medical recommendation. But we bring that awareness and that skin health management, that now you know, oh, I have a spot on my back. Now you can track that over time, and then you can see that it's evolving. And then, oh wow, like this grew from the past 2 months that I scanned, and we make the UX and the UI very helpful for not just the individual, the user and the patient, but also the provider to be able to see the difference and the change over time of those skin lesions so they can actually detect the skin cancer early.
Wow, this technology seems really cool. Is there something about how you built the tech or something that goes into that you love to share? Not that I want you to give away secrets,
No,
but I'd love to hear
obviously.
about this.
Yeah, absolutely. So as I'm sure we all know, is the rise in AI and machine learning, it's pretty clear that AI just reflects the outcomes of the data sets that they were trained on, right? So if these data sets are biased in any way, then that bias will be interpreted by the machine learning algorithm.
Mm-hmm.
And so this couldn't be more true in healthcare and especially in skin cancer, as there's basically a massive racial bias, and this is due to many reasons, but of course it's really important that we're able to mitigate these racial biases and provide skin cancer detection that's accurate across skin tones. So actually one of the biggest parts of our story was after graduating from the Sky Ventures incubator, I applied for a National Science Foundation grant and then did some work at Georgia State University specifically to tackle this issue, to create a skin cancer detector that could work for people of color.
Mm-hmm.
And amazingly, we both went to Atlanta, we both worked together, and then we were able to achieve expert level accuracy across skin tones. And then with the NSF backing, we were able to get it published in a top peer-reviewed journal here in the US. And then of course, beyond that, now we're conducting clinical trials with like the Oklahoma State University, and that's really exciting.
That is really exciting. Yeah, that's so cool.
And one of the things that this was the first time that a visual AI skin cancer detector worked for people of all skin tones. So we're really proud to be able to be bringing that and getting that hopefully through FDA in the next few years, but really to be able to have a technology that works for everyone and have that be also a patented methodology is really important.
Yeah, absolutely. I like that you're taking that extra special care. Even the statistics that you shared at the very beginning show how much that you're putting forth in that effort.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, so what's the future look like? What's happening for you all the next 6 months or year or 5 years? What's the plan?
Yeah, no, it's been really exciting. Things been moving extremely fast, in which we are really glad to be doing that, to be moving that fast. In the next 6 months, we're getting ready to deploy our telehealth connect.
Mm-hmm.
So for our users, and we're starting in California and Florida, but we want to be in Oklahoma as soon as we can. So we're looking to partner with providers here as well, but we're gearing up to launch our asynchronous telehealth service. So let's say that you're using SkinCheck to manage your skin health. You'll notice that one of your skin lesions might have changed a little bit and you would like to get a medical recommendation and a referral for further treatment if necessary for that lesion. You'll be able to do so and hear back from a dermatologist within 2 business days. So with that, if you might have a rash or you might have a pigmented skin lesion, which is the regular name would be like you have a mole, and you'll be able to take an image of it. We'll make sure we have algorithms that make sure that the quality of the image, the lighting is the best quality for a provider to be able to see. And then we have in the state of California already, but we have board certified dermatologists that will be on the other end of the SkinCheck app, on the SkinCheck MD side, actually processing those patients. And we're extremely excited. California and Florida are 2 of the states that we have the most users. Combined, we have over 25,000 users in those states that are individuals that are proactively checking on their skin. So in the short near future, we're really excited to be able to be providing that added service to our users, as well as bringing more of our solutions outside of just the users, but really be able to start equipping the providers and also the payers to be able to offer our solutions to their covered lives, to their providers. So in short, product development has been extremely exciting. Business development has been extremely exciting. We're also opening a pre-seed round. Actually, by the time that this is out, it will be probably already closed, but we opened it last week and have had pretty good traction so far. So excited about that. We can fuel more of our growth, but the vision is really to be able to become an end-to-end healthcare solution for dermatology. So we want to be able to have solutions not only to skin cancer but to other skin conditions, and we are doing that already with telehealth, but really being able to bring that to the patient at no cost is a huge piece of our vision.
Yeah. So does this path of working with providers and users, this includes insurance companies and helping cover some of that cost, I assume, or what does that look like?
Yeah, absolutely. We're wanting for health plans and health systems to offer skin check as a benefit to the plan's covered lives.
I love that. And you have to go through FDA approval processes? Is that
so
part of it?
there's like a pretty big distinction in regards of the product. You can go to the App Store and download our Skin Health Management app. We have that full suite of features that we talked about. And then we have also our AI, which the AI is considered a clinical decision support software, and that is not yet implemented in the app because we have to prove through clinical trials and clinical studies that we are able to use that. But we have an incredible solution both on the user and provider side that we're commercializing and bringing to market starting this fall. And as we go through this process of commercialization, we're able to actually be prioritizing as well the development of the AI and the regulatory approvals necessary in order to be able to have the clinical decision support software be helping providers detect the skin cancers even earlier.
Right. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to add, one of the most exciting parts about the future actually is in fact in our SkinCheck MD platform, being able to really use our AI as diagnostic features to help empower the provider. This way they can intervene earlier and prevent later stage skin cancers from developing. And really the future is quite bright as we perform these clinical trials. What I really love about the core technology in computer vision is that with generative AI now, it's actually really helping to round out a lot of the gaps that previously existed in computer vision. For example, one of the most difficult areas for self-driving cars and self-driving car computer vision algorithms to understand is being able to imagine the different gaps in the data points. But with generative AI, now we're starting to be able to create synthetic data, being able to supplement our data sets such that we actually can cover the end-to-end spectrum. So the future for skin check and our skin cancer diagnostics as we're going through clinical trials is really exciting, and it's only going to get better with the development of these machine learning and AI algorithms.
Yeah, I like how you've built this though in such a way that you don't have to wait for, what did you call it? This is the provider decision.
The clinical decision
clinical
support
decision
software,
support.
yeah. Or you can say
Right.
CDSS.
Okay, I'm getting all into this. So you don't have to wait for the CDSS to have an effective app and to serve people. Like, you don't have to wait on that. Like, you're already serving people.
Yes.
And they can get their appointment. Maybe it still is 14 weeks until unless you're in California or Florida.
Yeah.
But they are able to go in and say, like, here are the photos I've taken over this time, instead of seeing a provider and then them being like, okay, let's track this progress and how you've made sure that the photo is done correctly, and it's really an intelligent way of building it.
Yeah, and for specific communities and areas that might be rural areas or underserved areas in dermatology, one of the things that we're doing that is really important, and even just last week we were in Wichita, Kansas, participating of a showcase sponsored by the Blue Cross Blue Shield of Kansas, where for rural communities, a lot of the time you won't have a dermatologist within 25, 50 miles,
Right.
and that dermatologist will be, most of the time, already booked up for months. The thing is that those communities have incredible primary care physicians, they have incredible general surgeons that could be able to be taking care of that population if that concern was detected early. So what we're bringing to states like Oklahoma, like Kansas, is equipping the frontline healthcare workers with access to dermatological care, so that detection piece can be done earlier, so that the incredible providers that we have in those areas are able to intervene.
Absolutely. And I'm from a rural community,
Oh,
and
wow.
so you have a whole lot of people spending a lot of time outside.
Yeah.
Like traditionally, like farmers, ranchers, like just spending time outside. Even as kids, you're doing a lot of time outside and maybe not always protecting their skin like they should. And so having that access to those frontline workers is incredible.
Yeah.
That's definitely where the exciting road ahead is for Skin Check in the immediate future.
Yeah, and again, the way that you've built it has to make those conversations with funders really great too. Because you talk to so many, especially like technology development people, and they're like, oh yeah, if we get this money, then we get to build the thing. You've already built the thing. You already have over 100,000 people on the piece. If you get funding, you get to do like way more like awesome stuff with it. And so that has to be really intriguing. I hope all of the funders are listening to people when you're having those conversations.
Yeah. Yeah, we've been able to, even with Julian and I in the very beginning, but then having the incredible team that we have now to operate extremely lean. Even most of the cost that we've had to this point is making sure that our legal infrastructure is good. But we've been able to build a product, ship the product, grow the platform. Basically, we've just really been able to obsess about our customers and really being able to obsess about the pain points. And Julian is an incredible developer, and we have a team of incredible developers that makes the product development piece go so fast that the business development and the product development can go hand in hand. So that's really what we're looking to continue doing, so we can continue understanding and being able to fill the need of our customers as those customers evolve from patient to provider to payer. We're able to really understand those pain points and how to better serve them.
Yeah, and it sounds like you all have gotten like use of resources here, but also you were in Georgia and you're in all of these other places. And so when you think about Oklahoma, what is the advice that you would give to other founders or entrepreneurs like on the beginning of their journey?
Yeah. Just to get started, I think we would never be even gotten started or be where we are if it wasn't for the incredible support that there was in Oklahoma and in Tulsa specifically. We were able to have incredible backing from the University of Tulsa. Our first institutional investors was Hurricane Ventures, which is a partnership in between 46 Venture Capital and the University of Tulsa. One of our incredible advisors is the director of the Center of Innovation and Entrepreneurship at the University of Tulsa. Whenever we started to be able to develop product and get a little bit of more traction, we became part of the Act House Cohort 5. So we were accelerated by the Act House Accelerator in Tulsa. And up to the point that we're now, we've really been able to, one, raise capital, get good talent, and also be able to get to the point now that we're like doing research in other places. We are like getting investors from other places. But the early days would have not been possible without really like our University of Tulsa and just our Oklahoma community, which is being incredible up to this point. Yeah.
What about you, Julian?
I definitely echo all that. Really, what I'd say if I could speak to myself way back when, I would really stress the fact that, of course, like it's really important. It's really important to find an important problem that you want to solve. But what matters even more, especially as like whenever you're in the weeds and really wanting to build something, is not only to find just a problem that you think may be like the most lucrative, but really to find one that you obsess about so much, you're so passionate about it, you think about it in the shower, and really just to start building. Because that's really where I was able to find the most success. And then from there, just really steamroll into, now I'd say, as soon as I knew that we had something special, going into incubators, it's really clear that incubators really help to allow innovation to flourish. And so here in Oklahoma, there are plenty of incubators that are designed for that exact purpose. And I'm really thankful for the ones that we were a part of.
Yeah, and to finalize and objectively answer your question too, because we've been so thankful about the support we've had in Oklahoma. But yeah, the suggestion and piece of advice is really to just get started. The determining factor shouldn't be where you're located, but it should be your passion and determination to solve the problem. And there will be people in Oklahoma willing to help you, that can support you, and that can guide. The most important thing is really getting started.
Yeah, that's good advice. Anything else that you want our listeners to hear?
yeah, go download Skin Check if you're on iOS in the App Store, and then very soon to be also in the Android store. And yeah, you can follow us on LinkedIn at Skin Check and keep posted with the journey.
Yeah, perfect. You heard it here first. So go download the Skin Check app. And please come to our March OVF luncheon so that you can hear from Dani and Julian yourselves. Thank you so much for joining us for another podcast episode, and we'll talk to you soon.